Hey guys, welcome to my channel. It is a gloomy and rainy fall day, and it is a perfect day to wear flannel pajama pants and quick pickle jalapeno peppers. I'm actually glad that this happened because I have been meaning to do this for a little while, but I've been spending a lot of time outside. So I'm going to show you how to quick pickle our jalapeno peppers from the garden. There's also a red pepper in the bowl, but we're going to chop it up and freeze it. We're not going to pickle it, and I'll show you how I do that. I generally grab, peppers when they're on sale at the grocery store, and I will chop them up and just freeze them and use them in my cooking later. So I just picked the oldest, ugliest, wrinkliest looking pepper out of the bunch, and I'm just de-seeding it because you want to make sure your fruit is ripe when you are de-seeding. That way you know that the seeds are viable. So I felt that this pepper was a little too soft to be using in our pickles, so I decided I'm going to sacrifice this pepper and just keep the seeds and discard the pepper. I started quick pickling my jalapenos because I got really tired of spending $5 on a tiny jar of what is literally just jalapenos, vinegar, and water. So I thought, hey, I have those things. I don't need to go to the store and get them. Let's just do it here. We're all done chopping. It was just so easy. Okay, so now I decided I'm going to save the seeds. I got a little container and I'm getting some paper towel. Just putting the paper towel in that container. And we are going to scoop these seeds up and put them into the container. So when you do this, you might want to use gloves. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. Definitely consider using gloves. I didn't find it too bad because I'm not overly sensitive to jalapeno peppers. But yeah, so I'm just putting it into a container, and now I'm chopping up my red pepper because, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to freeze this. And I also want to keep the seeds from this because this was from the garden. It's got tons of seeds on it. At this point, the chopping is really making me hungry, so I cannot confirm or deny, but I may or may not be taste testing said red pepper. Okay, so now it's time to freeze our red pepper. I'm just going to grab a pan. Any pan will do. A pie pan, cake pan, cookie sheet, doesn't matter. You can grab a plate if you want to. And I'm also going to grab some parchment paper. Eventually, I'll have some parchment paper at some... Oh, here we go. So now I have some parchment paper. And I'm just going to line the pan with the parchment paper. And we're going to put the peppers on top. Okay, now we're going to save the seeds for the red pepper. This has a lot of seeds on it. Don't want those to go to waste. So I'm just getting a little container and I'm taking off the seeds from the core. Again, you want to make sure your pepper is ripe. So a green pepper is an unripe pepper, and a red pepper is a ripe pepper. They're both the same fruit. So yeah, I've got all the seeds, and I'm going to make a little note that this is the red pepper and the other one is the jalapeno. And here I am now. I'm just showing you the red peppers out of frame because that's helpful. And now we're going to start our pickles after I get back from putting the peppers in the freezer. So you're going to want to use a white vinegar. We have no name vinegar. If you want to get fancy and get some brand name vinegar, you can go right ahead. We are no name family, okay? You're going to want to use equal parts vinegar to water. So I'm using 1 cup of vinegar, and then I'm going to use 1 cup of water. Now what I like to do when I make quick pickles is I like to use old jars from products I've purchased from the grocery store, like this one. This was a spaghetti sauce jar, and it's great for making quick pickles because it doesn't have to seal. we're not doing that. We can also use iodized salt. Generally, when you're making pickles, you want to use salt that is not iodized because it affects the color, I believe. But that's not what we're doing, so it doesn't matter. So there. I'm just using some sugar, and I'm going to use my iodized salt. And I'm going to add that to our vinegar and water mixture and turn my stove on to boil. While we are waiting for the water to boil, I have a feeling I have way too many jalapenos here and I'm going to have to do 2 jars. So I just brought my jar over and started filling it up to see how many jalapenos I could fit in it. Luckily, I had a freshly washed jar from last night's buttered chicken laying around, and that did the trick because I did have to do 2 jars, and to be honest with you, it was actually kind of perfect. Now that our water is boiling and our sugar and salt have dissolved, I am pouring my jalapeno peppers into the liquid. And I'm gonna let it boil for maybe a minute. Not even, maybe like 30 seconds. Give it a good stir, make sure they're all in there. Okay, now I'm going to take them off the heat because I don't want them to continue cooking. I like my jalapenos with a little bit of crunch. And if you cook them too long, then they're not crunchy anymore, they're mushy. You just want to have it so that they have changed color. See how they're like a duller green? They're like an army green, not bright green. That's what we want. So now we are going to put our jalapenos into the jar. It's all done here, so I'm going to put my lid on, and this jar is actually quite hot, so I'm going to grab my canning tongs. You don't need canning tongs, but I just happen to have a pair, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it over on the counter out of the way, and I'm going to make another batch with my smaller jar of jalapenos. And here you have it, folks. Here are our finalized quick pickled jalapeno peppers. So they're gonna need a couple days to pickle in the fridge. I would maybe give it a week even before you open them. But after they're open, they will keep in the fridge between 7 to 8 months. So make sure that you eat them before 7 to 8 months is up. Thanks so much for joining me today and making these pickles. I hope that you were able to learn something that maybe you didn't already know. Hope to see you guys in the next video, and I'll catch you later.